common practice among certified electricians is to run home-run wires through ceiling joists rather than placing them on top. There are several reasons for this preference. Firstly, running wires through the joist offers a high degree of protection against physical damage. When wires are placed on top of the joists, they are more vulnerable to being hit, snagged, or crushed by objects stored in the attic or by people working in the space. This physical protection is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the wiring system and preventing potential electrical hazards. Secondly, running wires through joists provides superior support for the wires themselves. When wires are properly supported, they are less likely to sag or droop over time. This sagging can put strain on the connections and insulation, potentially leading to shorts, overheating, or even fires. By running the wires through pre-drilled holes or using appropriate fasteners within the joists, the wires are held securely in place, minimizing the risk of these problems. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for the proper installation and support of electrical wiring. While the specific requirements may vary depending on the application and local codes, the general principle is to ensure that wires are installed in a neat and workmanlike manner and that they are adequately protected and supported. In residential wiring, the NEC typically requires that wires be secured within a certain distance of electrical boxes and other termination points. It also specifies the types of fasteners and supports that are appropriate for different wiring methods. When running wires through ceiling joists, it is important to follow certain best practices to ensure a safe and compliant installation. Firstly, be sure to drill holes in the joists that are of the correct size for the wires being run. The holes should be large enough to allow the wires to pass through easily, but not so large that they weaken the joists. Consult local building codes for the allowable size and placement of holes in structural members. Secondly, use appropriate fasteners to secure the wires within the joists. Cable staples, for example, are commonly used to secure non-metallic sheath cable, also known as an end cable, to wood framing members. These staples should be driven in straight and tight without damaging the insulation of the wires. Thirdly, avoid running wires through the joists in a way that could create a fire hazard. For example, do not pack too many wires into a small space, as this can cause the wires to overheat. Also, do not run wires near sources of heat, such as chimneys or heating ducts. It's important to understand different wiring methods. Non-metallic sheath cable, or NM cable, is a common type of wiring used in residential construction. It consists of two or more insulated conductors enclosed in a non-metallic sheath. NM cable is typically used for branch circuits that supply power to lighting fixtures, outlets, and appliances. Armored cable, or AC cable, consists of insulated conductors enclosed in a flexible metal sheath. AC cable provides additional protection against physical damage and is often used in areas where the wiring is exposed or subject to mechanical stress. Electrical metallic tubing, or EMT, is a type of rigid metal conduit that is used to protect electrical wiring. EMT is typically used in commercial and industrial applications, but it can also be used in residential construction. When working with electrical wiring, it is essential to follow all applicable safety precautions. Firstly, always turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off before touching any wires. Secondly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as safety glasses and gloves. This will help to protect you from electrical shock and other hazards. Thirdly, be familiar with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. This will help you to ensure that your work is safe and compliant. Here are some additional points to consider. The type of ceiling joist construction can influence the best wiring method. In homes with traditional wood joists, drilling holes and running wires through the center of the joists is a common practice. However, in homes with engineered wood joists such as I-joists or trusses, it is important to consult the manufacturer's specifications before drilling any holes. Engineered wood joists are designed to carry specific loads, and drilling holes in the wrong locations can weaken the joists. In some cases, it may be necessary to use alternative wiring methods, such as running the wires along the top or bottom of the joists, or using a surface-mounted raceway. The presence of insulation can also affect the way that wires are run. If the ceiling is insulated, it is important to avoid compressing the insulation around the wires. Compressed insulation can reduce its effectiveness and potentially lead to overheating. In some cases, it may be necessary to install the wires in a conduit or raceway to protect them from the insulation. The NEC specifies the allowable ampacity, which means current carrying capacity, of different types of wires. The ampacity of a wire is determined by its size, insulation type, and the ambient temperature. It is important to select wires that are appropriate for the load that they will be carrying. Using wires that are too small can cause them to overheat and potentially start a fire. The NEC also provides guidelines for determining the ampacity of wires when they are installed in certain conditions. For example, if wires are installed in a conduit or raceway with other wires, their ampacity must be determined to account for the increased heat generated by the wires. Proper grounding of electrical systems is essential for safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip a circuit breaker or fuse and prevent electrical shock. The NEC specifies the requirements for grounding electrical systems. These requirements include the use of grounding electrodes, grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers. Grounding electrodes are typically metal rods or plates that are buried in the ground. Grounding conductors are wires that connect electrical equipment to the grounding electrode. Bonding jumpers are used to connect different metal parts of the electrical system together. Proper labeling of electrical panels and circuits is important for safety and convenience. Each circuit breaker or fuse should be clearly labeled to indicate the loads that it serves. This will make it easier to identify the correct circuit breaker or fuse to turn off when working on electrical equipment. The electrical panel should also be labeled with the main service disconnect and the voltage of the electrical system. Finally, consider the long-term maintenance of the wiring system. Regular inspections can help to identify potential problems before they become serious. Look for signs of damage, such as cracked insulation, loose connections, or corroded wires. Also, check the circuit breakers and fuses to make sure that they are in good working order. If you find any problems, have them repaired by a qualified electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock and other hazards. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to install and repair electrical wiring safely and correctly. They will also be familiar with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. In addition to running wires through joists, electricians also use other methods for routing wires in residential construction. For example, wires can be run along the top or bottom of joists, or they can be run through walls or floors. The best method for routing wires will depend on the specific circumstances of the installation. When running wires along the top or bottom of joists, it is important to protect the wires from physical damage. This can be done by using a conduit or raceway, or by installing the wires in a protected location. When running wires through walls or floors, it is important to avoid damaging any structural members. This can be done by drilling holes in the center of the studs or joists, or by using a special drill bit that is designed to avoid damaging the wood. Always consult local building codes prior. When planning an electrical installation, it is important to consider the future needs of the home. For example, if you are planning to add a new room or appliance, you will need to make sure that the electrical system is adequate to handle the additional load. It is also a good idea to install extra outlets and circuits in areas where you may need them in the future. This will save you the trouble of having to run new wires later on. When working with electrical wiring, it is important to use the correct tools. Some essential tools for electrical work include wire strippers, pliers, screwdrivers, and a voltage tester. Wire strippers are used to remove the insulation from wires. Pliers are used to grip and bend wires. Screwdrivers are used to tighten and loosen screws. A voltage tester is used to verify that the power is off before working on any electrical components. Finally, it is important to keep your work area clean and organized. This will help you to avoid accidents and make it easier to find the tools and materials that you need. Be sure to clean up any debris or spills immediately. Also, keep your tools and materials organized in a safe and convenient location.